Hello and welcome to a new video here on my channel here at Comaik. Winter is slowly retreating and it's time to start working in the garden. And as you can see behind me, my hard-working helpers are already on the job. My Gardena Sileno robotic lawnmower should actually be mowing the lawn here already. However, it doesn't really want to, because once again there's a cable broken somewhere. For this reason I want to switch to wireless robot technology. You heard that right. A robotic lawnmower without a guide wire here on my rather complex property. Whether that works and whether it actually works well, that's what this video will show. If you want to find out, stay tuned, we're about to get started. Temperatures are steadily climbing towards 10 degrees Celsius and the grass is slowly starting to grow. Of course, my Gardena robotic lawnmower should have started right away and kept the grass nice and short. However, it didn't really want to. I had the problem with the error. Loop signal interrupted. Since all my cables are buried underground, it wasn't easy at all to find and repair the right spot. I've already made a video showing you how you can easily find the damaged spots using these cable testers. If you're interested in that, take a look at the top right corner. I'll link that video for you there. Then the company ECOVACS approached me and asked, "We have a robotic lawnmower without cables. Would you like to try it out?" Of course, I was happy to say yes. Testing doesn't cost me anything. The name ECOVACS isn't exactly unknown. I already know this manufacturer from our vacuum and mopping robot. Our D-Bot has been providing reliable service in our home. I didn't even know that the company also makes robotic lawnmowers. So it's about time to take a closer look at the whole thing. Let's first compare the two robots side by side. On the left side, you can see my Gardena Sileno robotic lawnmower, which has been reliably serving me for over 10 years. This robotic lawnmower has a cutting mechanism with a rotating disc and floating mounted blades. It moves across the lawn in a random pattern, crisscrossing, and is only stopped by the boundary wires at the edge of my property. An additional guide wire ensures that the robot can reach all zones, including the area behind the blue house after the two walkways. It always reliably finds its way back to its hut. That's the charging station on the left over there. Right next to my Gardena, you can see its younger competitor. Brand new on the market, here is the ECOVACS A1600 RTK. The GOAT. GOAT, like the goat that confidently eats the grass down. What makes this model special, besides its double blade that cuts the lawn, is that it doesn't require any boundary wire at all. It operates using satellite support. You heard that right. With GPS signals and RTK technology, the robot finds its way around my property. RTK stands for real-time kinematics. The RTK receiver over there picks up the satellite signals. The signals are processed with an accuracy of up to 2 centimeters and transmitted to the robot. That way it knows, where am I, where do I need to go. Great. Then here at the front of the robot I also have various sensors, including a fisheye camera. With that, I even have a live view that lets me see exactly where the robot is at any given moment. This is going to be an exciting duel, having these two compete against each other. Especially because my property is actually a bit more complicated in its layout. But before I show you how to properly set up the app and the robot, I want to show you what accessories are included. I've taken the GOAT out of its box. Let's take a look at what accessories are included. I have the charging station, complete with its sturdy base and the protective back panel. Everything inside is well protected with a transparent protective film and ample styrofoam. I have two metal rods that fit into each other to hold the GPS receiver. This is the receiving unit that picks up the satellite signal. This tells the lawn robot where it is and where it is allowed to move. Then I have this ground anchor, which allows the RTK receiver to be securely fixed in the ground. And I also have an accessory box. I want to show you that as well. Well marked with numbers. Here you can find, among other things, the ground anchors to securely fasten the charging station to the ground. I have the power supply unit included, along with plenty of other useful small parts, such as various cable holders and the like. There's certainly no shortage of essential accessories whatsoever. I have a quick start guide included. Here I can see the first and most important steps of the installation, including setting up the app, because it should be specifically mentioned here that while this impressive robot can indeed drive on its own, you absolutely need the dedicated app to be able to fully utilize all of its comprehensive functions. I already have the ECOVACS app. My vacuum robot in the apartment uses the same app. With the app, I can control various ECOVACS devices. I found a manual. In addition to English, French and other languages, the instructions are also fully available in German. Everything is illustrated. That way, I can see exactly how it works. I really like that. Unfortunately, printed manuals are becoming increasingly rare. Now, everything only works via the app. My eyes aren't what they used to be, so it's hard for me to see things clearly on the small screens of the apps. And finally, the EU Declaration of Conformity. The robot is allowed to be sold here, but let's move on to the lawnmower robot. As you can see, the design is quite appealing. Personally, I really like it. It looks stylish. The casing is made of plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap. In fact, it looks quite chic. I also really like the design of the wheels. This spoke pattern, this is the large stop button. On the top there's a display with 3 buttons. Here I have a race section where the LiDAR system is installed. This is part of the robot's navigation system. These 2 metal rails at the front are used for charging when the robot drives into the charging station. I can open this box and access the battery to replace it. The battery is located under these screws. On the underside, you can clearly see the differences compared to my Gardena Silenoplus lawnmower robot, because the Sileno only has 1 disc with 3 blades that cut the grass. Here I have 2 discs with floating mounted blades. This means that when the discs rotate, the cutting blades extend outward and neatly cut the grass. The Goat is equipped with 4 wheels. At the back are the 2 drive wheels with a very robust tread, and at the front, the freely movable wheels help keep the device stable while driving. There's a heatsink, and apart from that, there's not much else to see on the underside. A quick note on cleaning. Please do not use a pressure washer, like a Kärcher, to clean it. You can easily spray down and clean the robot with water from a garden hose. I think that's really great, since that's not possible with my old Gardena robot. I always have to clean that one by hand with a brush. Here you can just use the garden hose and simply spray the part clean. On the back there's a stylish diffuser, the ECOVACS logo, and a carrying handle. With that you can easily carry the robot around. Of course, easily is relative. The robot is actually quite heavy. According to the manual, the robot weighs 17.5 kilograms. You have to be able to carry that first. So, what do you think about the robotic lawnmower? My first impression is very positive. Let me know in the comments below the video what you think of the design and appearance. Don't forget to take a look at the front, specifically at the camera that's installed up here, because with that, the robot can also orient itself. With its AI, it detects obstacles. It recognizes people and animals. The hedgehog in the garden can no longer be run over by the robot. I can also select up to which height the robot will drive over obstacles. Using AI detection, I can set it so that the device stops or avoids when animals or people are detected. That means safety is a top priority here. I think that's really good. Don't forget to let me know your opinion in the comments below the video. While you're down there, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and take a look at the description. There you'll find lots more information about this robotic mower. But enough talking. I'm going to assemble the charging station now. I'll put together all the accessories the way they're supposed to be. And after that, I'll set up the robot in the app and of course map out the property. And if you want to know how that works, stay tuned, because that's what's coming up next. The station is assembled very quickly. All you have to do is snap the back onto the base until it clicks into place. I also secured the base to my lawn with ground anchors on the left and right, so the robot can't push it away. Later, the station is supposed to be placed here. That means for now, this is just a temporary setup. I've connected the 2 cables at the back. First, there's the cable for the RTK receiver. You can see it here. I simply stuck it into the ground. And on the other side, you'll find the power cable, which comes from the outlet and supplies the station with electricity. First, I pushed the mower robot into the station to fully charge it. Thanks to the 32V charging system, this happens very quickly, because now I'm going to register it in my app and then map out the property. To connect the robot with my app, I just have to tap the scanner icon at the top right and photograph the QR code. After that, a step-by-step illustrated guide walks me through the menu. Once that's done, I can take care of mapping the property. Setting up the robot in the app was incredibly fast. It took less than 2 minutes for the robot to connect to my app. Afterwards, it downloaded the latest update. This process took another 5 minutes and now it's ready to use. With the app, I can now map out my property. That means I can tell the robot where to mow and where not to. And there are 2 ways to do this. Option number 1 is the automatic mapping of the property or lawn. For this, you first let the robot drive a short distance out of the driveway, then guide it to the edge where it should start. With its camera, the robot automatically detects the boundaries of your lawn as long as there are color differences. White gravel and green grass, that works perfectly. It also recognized my walkways without any problems. I've already tested this. Where it had trouble was the boundary next to my greenhouse, because there the lawn extends a bit further into the jungle-like area. Down there it wanted to keep going. For the automatic mapping, I had to quickly set up a barrier in that case so it wouldn't continue at that spot. If your property is simple and has clear, recognizable edges at the lawn boundary, then use the automatic mapping. It really works surprisingly well. Is your property a bit more complex? Do you have walkways that divide the lawn, or are there narrow passages like in this case? Then it makes more sense to manually control the robot for mapping. This way, you can precisely define where the individual zones, passages and lawn boundaries are. For this, you also let the lawn robot drive out of the garage and set a starting point. Then you can control the robot along the mowing boundary via Bluetooth using the app on your phone. The lawn robot creates a beautiful map that you can view in the app. You can split and also merge the map. You can create passages and no-go areas. There's quite a lot you can do in the subsequent map editing. Just take a look at it in peace. And don't worry, if the mapping goes wrong and you don't like the result, just delete the map and create a new one. That works as well. Now that the lawn robot is ready for use, and I've also mapped out my lawn areas, set up the walkways in between, and remeasured the edges once more in automatic mode, we can finally get started. I can set the times when the robot should operate. I can program fixed schedules, but I can also start the mower manually at any time. And now I'll show you how all of this works in the app. On the app's home screen, I can see the map of my lawn that I created. In the quick selection menu at the bottom, I can choose whether the robot should mow an area, the edges, or mow the lawn manually controlled. Under advanced, I can target the individual zones that I have set up. To the right of that, I set up the schedules. At the top right, there are 3 more menus. By tapping the camera icon, I can access the robot's camera directly and see through its eyes. I can even control the robot manually while doing this. It's just like a remote-controlled toy car that I can steer myself. The middle menu is the map menu. Here, I can create zones, merge or split zones, assign names, and also set up paths. You should take your time to try out what you need here. In the right menu, you'll find the log, mowing settings, lawnmower settings, and many other things. In the mowing settings, you can select the mowing mode. For example, you can set the cutting height there. Obstacle detection is also configured here. You can also make the same settings individually for each area. The mowing robot's direction is another important setting. The A1600 RTK doesn't drive around randomly like my Gardena Sileno, which uses the chaos principle. The goat mows the lawn in an orderly overlapping mowing pattern. Here you can set the angle of the driving direction. By adjusting the angle, I can determine which path it should mow along. This way, the mowing lines will later fit perfectly with the edges of the lawn. At the bottom, you'll find the edge mode. I can have the robot follow the detected boundary or let it go up to 20 centimeters beyond it. If the grass at the edge isn't being cut cleanly, you should choose the second option. Of course, you also have the option to mow the lawn edge exactly along the defined boundary. At the very bottom, you still have the settings for the rain sensor and animal protection. With the animal protection setting, you determine during which times the robot should not operate. By default, this is set to dusk and nighttime, between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. In the robot settings menu, you can adjust other things such as the safety settings. There, you can set the alarm volume, activate real-time positioning, and of course, change your pin. In the maintenance menu, you can check the condition of the blades and reorder them directly if needed. I've also activated the AI detection to protect hedgehogs, cats, dogs, or even the garden hose on the lawn from the robot. In addition to the time zone and language selection, the app of course also includes the update function. In my case, it's running in automatic mode. I've shown you what comes with the robot. I've shown you how to set up the charging station, how to configure the robot and how to connect it to your app. Now the robot is running and performing its main task, mowing the lawn. And as you can already see here, it does this very nicely and very perfectly. It mows in parallel lines with a 50% overlap on both the outward and return paths. Thanks to the two blades, the grass is cut cleanly. The 20 centimeters overlap at the edge ensures that the borders are also trimmed neatly. So far I haven't had to use the edge trimmer at all. Of course, I'm also interested in the topic of safety. Children or animals should never be run over by the robot or injured by the sharp blades. The AI in the robot uses the camera and the sensors in the front, allowing it to reliably detect these objects. I was already able to test this. The robot avoids the obstacle. It doesn't stop, but instead turns and drives back. Now I'm going to do a test with the garden hose. Wow, that's really an impressive performance. The ECOVACS GOAT A1600 RTK has now been working in my test for 2 weeks. I'm quite satisfied. It works through its lines accurately, even though they're still not completely parallel to the edges. I'll need to make some adjustments in the app. What I really like is the incredibly fast setup. I hardly had to do anything either in the app or on the robot itself. Within just a few minutes, the mower was ready to go, and all of that completely without cables, no boundary wires at the sides and no guide wire in the middle. The cables basically worked with my Gardena Sileno, unfortunately only as long as they remained intact. And unfortunately, either Ans or I myself with a spade have messed up the cables a few times. The robot detects the narrow passage perfectly and can easily move to the third zone. It recognizes and mows the edges completely automatically. However, there are also a few small things that could still be improved, but nothing that couldn't be fixed with a software update. Sometimes I get the impression that it's still a bit jerky and uncertain as it moves around, that it gets stuck, for example, if I just leave the weeds I've pulled from the lawn lying there. When it sees that, it stops and turns around because it perceives it as a foreign object. The old Gardena just drove straight over it and simply flattened it. Of course, the safety requirements weren't as strict with the Gardena back then. In my opinion, the edge mowing is also good, but still not perfect. Especially in these zones, it confidently mows beyond the edge. It does this very precisely, but I've noticed at the corners that it doesn't follow the curves all the way. Instead, it drives in a rounded arc, and this area back here in the corner, he still leaves out for now. I asked ECOVACS what I can do to make sure the edges are mowed completely, because that's how it should be. I don't want to have to go over it again with the grass trimmer. The answer from ECOVACS was quite simple. The problem will be solved with a firmware update. Starting April 2025, the edges in the corners should also be mowed perfectly. I really like that, provided they actually deliver on it. The robot is now driving along its paths. I hope you can clearly see how the mowing pattern is forming. Once there and once back, these are the famous light and dark stripes in the grass that you know from every sports field. The robot does this brilliantly. It really looks very stylish. The cut pattern is also very even. What still needs to be observed are the track marks that the robot leaves in the lawn. Since the lawn is still relatively soft after the winter, the lawn robot has left some track marks. It is also quite heavy. And the drive wheels with their coarse tread leave their imprints, but it was no different with the Gardena. That one also left its marks, especially when the lawn was still soft or very wet, but this should resolve itself over the course of the summer. The robot was able to convince me. As you can see, the ECOVACS A1600 RTK GOAT has taken the place of the Gardena Sileno. The Gardena garage is gone and the ECOVACS garage has been installed. As you can see, there is not only the charging station, but also a stylish roof available as an accessory. This way, the robot is protected from above as well. The robot garage is made of plastic with a sturdy metal frame. It's definitely sturdy. It should be able to withstand several centimeters of snow load, provided the garage stays outside during the winter. Now it's your turn. Give me your feedback below the video. What do you think of this mowing robot? What do you think of the GOAT? What do you think of this new robot technology without cables wire, satellite GPS and the RTK module control the lawn robot precisely? Would this work for you as well? Are you interested? then check the description below the video. There, I'll link you to the product page for this robot and the appropriate accessories. I'll also link you to some additional information about the robot. And if you like, write your opinion in the comment section below. What do you think of this mowing robot? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, give me a like. If you want to see more from me, subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss anything. See you in the next video. I'm already looking forward to seeing you. Until then, take care.